for the Panthers though, like, are they a dynasty if they win the cup? Like, I don't.
I'm glad you brought this up,
I think
Brandon.
they
What do
are.
you think?
What?
You go to
So it's
two-
like
you
two
go to-
cups in 3 years.
Yeah,
Is that what
like,
it-
is Tampa Bay a dynasty? Because that's basically the comparison. Tampa
See, that's
Bay
the
went
thing.
to-
I'm not really sure. Like, how they got 2 cups? Was it the same? Like they got the
Back-to-back.
2 cups, right? Back.
Yeah, they
that's
got
it.
back-to-back cups, and they went to a third straight one. Except it would be total opposite for Florida in the sense of they lost the first one, and then
Right.
they're going to win
Yeah.
the final 2.
See, like I don't know. Obviously, there has been a lot of talk, but I don't think like back-to-back championships, even with a third finals appearance, I don't know that makes you a dynasty yet. I'm not
agree.
sure. I kind
So
of
what,
am right.
3?
I've been riding.
4?
If you
Like-
win, if you win 3 championships in a span of like 5 years, it doesn't have to be back to back to
Bingo.
back. But like
So
3,
it's
I
the
think
Chicago
is where you start.
Blackhawks.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Not
okay.
the LA Kings.
Not the LA
No.
Kings, not the Pittsburgh, like Pittsburgh Penguins.
Sorry, we keep jumping in. We keep jumping in on Brandon.
I don't know. I'm like trying to think. I just think like that's kind of where I'm at now. But the Panthers have all the makings to continue to eventually become that if they
Yes.
even if they don't win again next year, if they're able to lock up Sam Bennett, Aaron Ekblad, like if they're able to continue making smart moves and continuing to just build on what they've got, they have a chance to do win another one in another year or 2 years. They're not going to go away too easily unless something happens. Sergei Bobrovsky could be an interesting question mark if in the next couple of years he kind of falls off a cliff. He's one of the older goalies.
Next year.
Yeah, so he could also leave the team. He could retire in a couple of years. I think he's one of the older goalies in the
Yeah,
league.
he's like
Definitely.
36, 37, I think now.
They're going to need to shore that up, relatively quickly. They traded away, what I think people expected to be their kind of next goalie and was Spencer Knight, right, to Chicago. So to get Seth Jones. I think it'll be interesting to see where they go. But yeah, I think they're like right there. If they can win this year, and then even if they say they got to a fourth finals in a row and won 2 of those, then I would say you're a dynasty. You almost need like there's like a percentage, whether it's like 30% or 40% of like 10 years to be involved in like those finals matchups or to win a couple in that span. Like then I start to say, okay, it was like actually a dynastic period as opposed to just like a couple years, 2 years, 3 years, they were good. But beyond that, like I think it needs to be a little bit more.
I would say even if they just made it to a cup final next year, like that's pretty much sums up like this is a dynasty.
Can't deny 4 straight.
I don't
4
think
straight
so,
cup
man.
finals. Like
I think you
okay,
need.
well this basically is a similar comparison, except we're gonna assume that Florida is gonna get 2 cups in this. Maybe not. Maybe they get 1. But would you say that the Cleveland Cavaliers of the late 2010s, who went to 4 straight NBA finals, are they a dynasty team?
Well, they only won one, right?
Yeah, they had
Exactly.
one.
So like,
Now it was a comeback, right?
It
From
was a
3-1.
Phenomenal.
Are they
one, but
considered?
it was not. I don't think people consider that team a dynasty. No.
So if Florida goes to 4, like I just said, and I would consider.
Well, that's
them a
what I mean. Like,
dynasty,
I
but
think
they have
if-
to win 3. I would
if
say
you
if they win.
I think if they won 2 and they went to 4 straight, I think people would call them a dynasty. I don't know that I would, like Alex said, like I don't know if in my heart that I would feel that truly is. But if they got to, like, if you 3 out, like say they got to 3 and won 3 out of 4, that feels like a lot. But
Three wins. You put it perfectly in my eyes, Brandon. 3 in 5 years, like rings, cups, whatever. That's to me a dynasty. You could make 5 straight finals and win 1, and I wouldn't call you a dynasty. If you win 2 and you've made 4 or 5 consecutively, I think you're peering over the fence at the dynasties. But I still don't. I think until you have 3 wins as a team,
3 and 5.
you can make 20 appearances in a row. I still don't think it counts because you didn't
that's
get
fair.
it done.
Like, because you're
I
not.
totally agree.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly it. You're not getting.
That's
it done,
everything.
Right? Like you don't win.
what about the Warriors won 3 in what was it 4 years or something, and then
Yeah,
they won another.
something.
Do they include? Do you guys
they're a
include that like
dynasty. They're a
2020?
dynasty. They're a
But do you
dynasty.
include
do.
that like
They're a
2022 one? Because I guess
because
Steph
it's
and Draymond
it's
were all
the
still
Steph
there.
core. Like it's
Yeah.
Clay's
Yeah.
there
Just
too.
wasn't KD.
Like It just wasn't KD, and they didn't
I
even
think
win
that's
with KD in their
just-
first
Yeah.
one. Like,
So they won, what, 4 in like 6 or 7 years?
They
or
won
something?
4 in 6
Probably
years.
more.
That's
Is it 6 years?
or 7.
I think it's
4 and
more.
7, 4 and 7.
I think it's 7.
Because 2015 was their first one, and then
Yeah.
then they lost 2016. They rattled off 17, 18, then they won 22.
Yeah, I'm gonna just double check
So,
just in case.
7 or 8 years for sure.
seven,
But yeah, the
seven.
4, like that's a true, like then you're now
that's a
talking
dynasty.
like
So
4 in
I
10
guess
years. That's 40% of the championships in that decade they
Yeah.
won. So
I
it's
guess
like
Carolina
So-
Florida's like Florida still has a year or two left to get to that dynasty status. Like we'll be talking
Yeah.
about them, but
It's 8 years, boys. Just want to
4 and 8,
clarify.
yeah.
It's
8
Okay,
years?
that's fair.
4 and 8. Yeah, so 2015 Golden State, 16 Cleveland, 17 Golden State,
Yeah,
18 Golden
yeah.
State. So that's 3 and 4.
That's
And then you have
4.
Toronto, LA,
But
Milwaukee.
okay, also they
and
won.
then
They
Golden
went.
State.
Not only that, they
I
went
forgot
to
about the Lakers
5.
bubble one. For
Yeah,
a second.
They went
yeah.
to 5
snuck one in.
straight finals as well.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then
no debate.
like they're a debate. They're a
That
dynasty.
alone, like that
By
run
far.
from 2015 to 2018, I guess at that point,
And
like
they
that,
probably-
that
let's be
alone
honest,
was dynastic.
That's the dynasty.
They
yeah.
probably win. They probably win 2019 if KD's actually healthy and Clay's
they
healthy.
had some real tough injuries, so yeah, that's actually a really good point too.
I
And then
mean,
yeah,
never
yeah,
know, guys.
yeah,
We'll
I did
never
that
know.
finals
I mean,
appearance.
I'm a Toronto Raptors fan, but I'm just being realistic here. I'm just
We'll
saying.
never
they
know.
probably win.
But you add in
Yeah.
that finals appearance, that's what. So they went to like six
Oh,
six
man.
finals in
6 finals
in those
in
8 years.
Yeah,
Like
6
that's
finals
insane.
in 8
That
years.
is insane.
It's-
That's a
yeah.
dynasty.
It's unbelievable.
So I guess
Yeah.
when we're talking about the Florida Panthers, we'll relate this back to the Florida. They're not close to a dynasty at the end of the day. We basically brought up the question in our minds, and then talked it out, talked about another sport, the NBA, where the Cleveland Cavaliers had basically the same situation that the Florida Panthers are in right now. That's not a dynasty. And then
No.
we realized what a dynasty is.
Quick,
and that's
though,
the
what,
Golden State Warriors.
What sport or league do you think it's the hardest to be? Like we kind of had a dynasty. Or people want to still put the Chiefs kind of in a dynasty right now if they were to continue
Yeah.
to win. Like the NFL, I think I'm not going to say it's one of the easier leagues, but I think we've seen quite a few dynasties in the NFL in the last.
I don't know. You have to win 3 games in the NFL basically
Yeah.
to win
Yeah.
a Super
So
Bowl.
then that leaves the NHL, MLB, NBA,
it's-
with like which I think
it's-
NBA is fairly easy
yeah,
as well.
it's
Like
easy.
you see
Probably.
teams win, and so maybe it is the NHL.
I'm just gonna go off the board and say golf. I'm joking.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
individually, it's tough
Yeah,
to
yeah.
rattle off that
But-
many wins in a row.
Well,
yeah.
could you consider baseball? Like, would you
No,
consider
the NHL
MLB
is
hard?
100% the hardest. 100% the hardest to win. The NHL.
I mean, I'm
guess
trying
there's
to
no
think. There's not
salary
really
cap,
like,
right?
there's not really like. I think the MLB is the closest because it's certainly not a league where we've seen that many, repeat champions or long runs of teams
Yeah.
that get hot and win multiple championships in a period of time. I think right now we're seeing like a team like the Dodgers kind of dominate the league, but they won 2021 or 2022, and then they won last year.
Yeah.
So like if they were to win another one, yeah, we're talking about a dynasty at that point, I think, but we're not really there yet. But other than that, like I don't know, the Yankees obviously had their thing going early on the 2000s and
yeah.
won it again in 2009, but there's
I
not really
think
been
we're
a team that's won.
we're splitting hairs, but the one thought I have is like when it comes to like the COVID years, like the
we're-
2020, 2021, it's hard to they're
Yeah, like,
champion,
does that even count?
But
Yeah,
like to
exactly.
We're not-
conclude that as a part of a dynasty, it's hard. It's
We're
hard.
not splitting hairs. We know we've come to the conclusion the Panthers are not a dynasty yet. That's the
That's for
conclusion.
sure.
Seems that way.
No,
Yeah.
that's
Okay,
definite. But
okay.
I agree, Brandon, that they have the makings of one.